Hi, it's Chef Rick and today I'm making Parmo. First thing we're going to make for this Parmo is a bechamel or a white creamy sauce. So we're going to use some whole milk on a medium to low heat. In fact, yeah, low to medium, closer to low. Some bay leaves, black peppercorns, onion, and ideally you'd put some nutmeg in there as well, or some allspice, but I've also put some garlic cloves, and you're just going to leave that for around about an hour on a very low heat until everything has been kind of absorbed into the milk, and that milk's imparted loads of flavour from everything that was in there. You're going to strain that off just using a sieve, and there's your infused milk, which you just want to keep warm on the back of the stove. So now for the remainder of that sauce, we're going to start making a roux. So we're going to melt some butter in a saucepan. And then gradually we're just going to add some plain flour, bit by bit. Keep stirring it through because you want that flour to cook off and combine really nicely with the butter. Get rid of any lumps, keeps it beautiful and smooth, and this is going to be the start of a roux or a roux ball. And that's what we're looking to make. So you can see there's been no sieving of that or anything, and we've not whisked it in. We've just used that little spatula tool, but you just keep pushing it together, pushing it to the edge of the pan, and it gets rid of all of the lumps, so you end up with a really beautiful smooth sauce. That's what I want. You can see where it's coming away from the edge of the pan. It's combining really nicely into a really beautiful, quite shiny, almost like Play-Doh-y texture ball, to which we're now going to add the infused milk. And this is going to thicken up really quite quickly. It starts off lumpy, but use a whisk for this one, of course. See how thick that's gotten? So you're just going to keep adding milk now until it gets to the texture that you want, and you're going to add the milk slowly, bit by bit, because you can always add more when it thickens like this, but if you add too much and it goes too thin, it's very difficult to get it thicker again. So yeah, just add the milk bit by bit. What you're making here, this is pretty much there a simple bechamel, a simple white sauce, what you'd get layered in a lasagna. If you added loads of grated cheese to this at this point, as much or as little as you want, you're going to turn it into a cheese sauce. Your cheese sauce is going to thicken loads because you've added cheese. Thin it again using milk. So yeah. You see how we let it get too thick, and then we just add the milk there just to thin it again. All the while this is on a low heat. So there you go, super smooth. That whisk wasn't really showing it off there, but that's a very smooth, very shiny bechamel. Season it, just give it a little taste. Salt and black pepper, or if you want to keep it looking really pretty, use white pepper, but I like the little flecks of pepper in there. There's the white pepper you see. And that's how easy it is to make a bechamel. Off the heat up until we're ready to use it. You can see there now. That's how it's going to stay really on the side. It's not going to set. This is traditionally served with chips on a night out. This is a Middlesbrough night out classic, by the way, Parmo. So we're just going to take potatoes, keep the skin on, and slice them into discs. About that thick, slightly thicker than a standard French fry. Take each of those discs and then slice it lengthways, and that is going to give you your fries and chips. So they're going to be cooked twice. The first one in the fryer is going to be at 160 degrees. If you don't have a deep fryer, or if you're just frying them in a pan of oil, you want to lower one chip in and have a reaction like that. By watching mine, you see. So there's going to be bubbles, there's going to be fizz, but it's not going to be violent at all. And if you remove that chip after 10 seconds, this is your one tester chip, it shouldn't have too much colour on it at all. It shouldn't have instantly browned. They have had around about 15 minutes in there. They've cooked all through the middle, so they're lovely and soft, but the outside has stayed crunchy, but it hasn't yet got colour on it. Chicken breast, as we always do, feel for any connective bits alongside the edge of the breast and just slice those off and remove them, just little bits like that. When you get them from a butcher's or they're all organic, you will often find those on. Nothing to be scared of, get rid. And you're just now dealing with a really beautiful chicken breast. So we want to flatten that out, so we do that between 2 layers of cling film. And then just give it a little pound with a rolling pin or the bottom of a saucepan. And just work your way up and down it slowly. If you hit it too hard, too quick, it just sort of splits open a little bit. So you want to keep it maintaining a nice shape. And the cling film as well stops it splitting apart. But there you go. So that is a chicken breast that's been flattened. It's just going to cook easier. It's going to be nicer on the fork. Everything about it's just better doing it that way. So we're going to do our classic breading station, which is consisting of, first of all, an egg wash. So we're just going to take 2 eggs, whisk them up. Because this is going to be used as a breading station, make sure that those eggs are really thoroughly mixed. Like that. Use an electric whisk if you've got one. Panko breadcrumbs, just because I use them for everything and they're super crunchy and crispy, or you can use normal breadcrumbs, whatever you want. A seasoned flour, so that's just going to be plain flour, to which we add white pepper, salt, garlic powder, a little paprika, and mix all that together. Any herbs and spices go into a seasoned flour. Just the minimum you'd need to add is salt and pepper. And there's our station there. So we've got the chicken, the flour, the egg, the panko breadcrumbs, and the oil. Oil's in our frying pan this time, so I'll show you how you test it. You're just going to drop one of your breadcrumbs in there and see the reaction that you get. If it starts to fizz ever so nicely, then you know that that's going to fizz when you put your chicken in. If it doesn't do anything, let it get hotter. If it violently fires all over the place, cool the pan down. Chicken into the seasoned flour, then into the egg wash. The seasoned flour helps the egg wash to stick, and obviously it's seasoned, so it provides just a little touch of flavour onto that chicken. And then into your panko breadcrumbs and get them all nicely covered. And that's a breading station. We've done it in loads of videos, but if you flatten out a piece of chicken like this, or a piece of pork, or a piece of veal, you're making like an escallop. And you just want to lower that down into the oil carefully. Obviously do the same with your second one. I showed this second one as well because you can see that first one, the pan is so pretty and it's like the perfect shape. This one's a bit misshapen and everything, but I want to show you how, you know, you're not to worry if you get a chicken breast like that. This one's going to be mine, of course. I always give my wife the best looking plate, but it's just as good, if not better, because I think some of those little breaks in that chicken, you know, get some of that crumb and crisp on the outside, so you just get a little more extra bite maybe with it. But so there they are, instead of frying. So you want to make sure that they're not too hot. Keep checking the underside. You know when something looks right. I mean, just look at that. You can see that the left hand side of it is looking almost perfect. The right hand side is just not overdone. Fry it on the other side. So each side is probably going to get around about 4 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes, depending on colour. I have these, my pans aren't amazing, so they probably have hot and cold spots in them, so I always move them around as well. And once they're done, take them out, drain them on kitchen paper, or, as I always do, waste a tea towel. And that's your chicken. So now the chicken goes here onto a lined baking tray. And we're going to grate some cheese. This is kind of all done in advance, the cheese grating, but I'll put it in at this stage. You can see where it's going to be relative in the video. So that's grated cheddar cheese and mozzarella cheese. So onto our chicken breasts, which have cooled slightly, but they've not gone cold. So they're still lovely and warm, but you can almost handle them now. So we're going to spread that amazing bechamel sauce. You can use tomato sauce instead of bechamel here, but the traditional way you'll get in the streets of of Middlesbrough is going to be with a bechamel. So we spread the bechamel sauce all over the chicken. And now cover all of those with the grated cheese. You really want to cover it in cheese here, you don't want any gaps. There you go, so then they go under the grill. Whilst they go under the grill, the chips can have their very last blast. This is a hot oil now, about 190. So anything that you drop in to test your oil, you want those chips to brown within about 20 seconds. You want them to go nice and brown, because we're just adding the colour to the outside. Now there you go. So that's added loads of the perfect colour. They are super crispy on the outside, but the middles are dead light and fluffy. Simple seasoning, just salt. Toss those round, and they are absolutely amazing, perfect French fries, as good as you'll get. Here comes the chicken out of the oven, so you can see that the mozzarella and the cheddar cheese has melted all into that bechamel. Plate it up nicely. French fries. This sounds silly, the next bit, but if you can find the cheapest garlic mayo that you can find. Don't get anything fancy. Don't start making our homemade garlic mayo. Use a cheap one because you want that sort of sweetness, kebab shoppy taste. And that is a Parmo. Fine dining, it is not. Taste, flavour, moorishness, it's everyone wants more and more and more. It's one of my most requested meals to make. It's absolutely delicious. I hope you enjoy making it yourself. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll see you on the next one.